Welcome to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of April 6th. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
We're moms of teens and young adults, and when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we'll reach the finish line and have no further need to lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes worrying about something or other. Wednesday is Complaint Day here on Parenting Roundabout, and today we're talking about what's essential when social distancing. Last week we talked about social distance shaming that's been going on, and we also talked about, creative ways that people have found to get together at this time, such as, kids. I think Nicole mentioned her daughter and her friends driving to the high school and sitting on the hoods of their cars to talk to each other, and people doing Zoom to get together. And lately we've been hearing people being reprimanded even for that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like nothing non-essential. Stop it. Nothing non-essential. But, some social contact is essential. Some feeling that you're not in a pod in outer space with nobody anywhere near. So I thought we'd talk a little bit today about how much, what social contact and getting together with friends in some way and family is essential for us and for our kids. And just checking up on how we feel about all this stuff. In addition to somebody saying kids shouldn't sit on their cars 6 feet apart, I saw somebody say that you should not have a Zoom happy hour, Catherine, because alcohol is very bad for your immune system and will make you will get sick.
What?
Well, and then there was also a story on NPR last week about Zoom bombing and how people their Zoom meetings are getting hacked with porn and racial epithets and stuff. Hey, please don't take this away from us.
Yeah. And I also saw something about Zoom having some vulnerabilities that hackers could get control of your computer, camera and microphone and stuff. So for maybe other nefarious things, it's like, oh, come on.
Right.
Really? Do we really just have to go sit in our rooms and twiddle our thumbs for 2 months? Give us a little something, will you?
Yeah, exactly.
Killjoys.
I mean, my son is pretty good to, he already was living a lot of his life virtually, know. But, except for, of course, all of his activities that he did, which he can't do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But, for my daughter, she really is a social person. She, as I think I mentioned before, she would always go do her homework at Starbucks or the library or another coffee shop. And obviously she can't do that anymore. And, she certainly can FaceTime and talk with her friends that way, but it's hard to limit it to that. And, it's hard for me, to understand this. I get it that, the 6 feet apart thing is supposed to be for essentials, like if you're going to the grocery store or whatever.
Right.
But explain to me how it hurts. If the kids are outside 6 feet apart.
Yes. I thought there was an article that we'll link to in the show notes saying that things like that are bad, that you should not be going. The 6 feet, as you said, the 6 feet is only for essentials and you shouldn't be just going out. But they didn't say specifically, if you go with your friends and sit on the hoods of your car 6 feet apart, you will die or you will spread disease or you should be condemned in some way. They just said, that's not what it's for. That's not how you're supposed to be doing it. And it's like, if it's not going to hurt anybody, who cares?
Yeah. Right.
I don't understand. It just seemed like such a killjoy approach. Like this is the social distancing monitor. I think there is a good if they were doing that and then playing little games where they would get close to each other. And I can see how it could go bad, but if they're just, if you're going to go play golf with your buddy and you're going to stand 6 feet apart, go play golf. What the heck? Mm-hmm. Who cares? Get some contact. We go out for walks and we try to stay away from other people if we see them. Is a walk an essential outside? Maybe not, but
it's being encouraged, right?
I think so.
To take walks. It's just that you need to keep your distance. So,
and
why is that okay when the parking lot party is
right.
not okay.
And I would think there were people who would probably, I mean, I hear a lot drummed in now, stay in your house, stay in your house, stay in your house. Not go outside, just keep away from people, but just the safest thing is just stay in your house. So I feel like people are getting a little crazy about it.
I think part of the problem is people either not getting it or abusing it or whatever.
Right. Yes. You know, I mean, and that's
and
fine.
Sometimes they only
condemn
get
that
it when you give them absolutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the problem with human nature, though, is some people only get it if you give them absolutes. And some people, when you give them absolutes, say, not going to do it.
Yeah.
That's too hard. So,
yeah,
it's like, I don't know. There's no good answer. But
then at the same time, you see on social media that, I mean, churches are having drive-up service and people are gathering at hotels where others are sick and they're sitting out in the parking lot and the cars aren't even spaced. They're like side by side.
Yeah.
And people are getting up and sitting on top of their cars and cheering people on. And like, I like that. And I think that's wonderful. But how is that okay if we're condemning other, other aspects? Like, is it just that we shouldn't be out enjoying ourselves in a somber time? Is that more the situation? I don't know.
But I mean, there still seem to be, like, I would think if you want to just make it purely essentials, going to the grocery store is purely an essential. Going to Wendy's for a hamburger is not purely essential. We're allowing takeout to still exist so that more businesses don't go under.
Right.
But it's not strictly an essential. So if that's not an essential, my friend mentioned that there's a little local bookstore in her town that had to close, but they will still, if you order a book from them online, you can drive by their store and they will bring it out to you in your car.
Right.
Now that's not an essential, but it's, it's a nice way to keep things open. So it's like, I'm not sure. I'm happy that restaurants are still open because my daughter still has her job. But then on the other hand, she's going out every day. Is she bringing us home the plague? I don't know. It's the meaning of essential seems to be kind of slippery.
Well, and Joann's is open. How is Joann's an essential?
They made them close in our town. They actually sent the police to Joann's and Hobby Lobby and some CBD shops that were open. And they made them all close.
Yeah, like I don't know if Joann's is closed now, but it was open a couple days ago. So, but now they're talking, I heard that in like Los Angeles, for example, they're talking about just shutting off the water and electricity for businesses
to places that don't. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But then you see, there are some states that still don't have the stay in shelter place.
Well, there's some states that still don't have many cases, I think.
But I don't know because...
like if you live in Montana, probably you're pretty 6 feet away from people just in the natural course of living.
Well, I know one of these states for sure was Texas.
Yeah.
And Alabama. They don't have a stay in shelter. And people are still going about their everyday life. There's photos of people who are, just doing their thing.
It's easier to enforce that sort of thing if there's a visible need. Just do this because everybody else is doing it. I don't know. It would be hard. There's not a federal stay at home, and
as of this
recording, and I don't know that there should be. I think that it should. I feel like governors should be in charge of that.
The problem is that viruses don't respect borders.
That's true.
No, that's the thing, right?
But I think
that's what they'll get.
They've been talking about like not letting people leave the state where I'm in New Jersey, and there's talk about you can't, no other state wants us to come there, stay behind your border. So that may be more the thing. I don't know.
Right.
But, I don't know enough about it to have an opinion, but,
I think there's a particular challenge for countries like the U.S. where, it's a very, democratic society and people are very cognizant of one another's rights. And there's a reluctance to, make federal decisions. So,
yeah.
Until that time, we're just going to have.
And there are also, there's a division of. I think there's a clear division of responsibility between federal and state.
More so than in other countries, I think.
Exactly.
Is what you mean.
States have more of a...
Well, they just have more power.
There's more of a division of responsibilities and power between states, what belongs to the state and what belongs to the federal government. So it's, I'm honestly impressed that it's gone as well as it has. There are certainly breaches and certainly stupid people doing stupid things. But in general, I feel like we shut down pretty well. It's like there's always going to be that one kid in the class that ruins it for everybody, but the rest of the students are sitting quietly at their desks.
Right.
So, but I do love the creativity that people are using to reach out to one another in a variety of ways. And I wish that the people who are in charge of making sure that we don't all kill each other were really careful in what they condemn or don't condemn. You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah. But I don't even know if it's coming from them, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the article about don't sit on your car 6 feet apart from your friends because it's not essential, I think that was a public health person or a doctor or something. And a killjoy, Yeah. So... You gotta give us something, y'all. Come on.
Well, we are not killjoys, so please.
And hackers, don't ruin Zoom for us. Cut it out.
We are, Well, I think we're doing a good job of being socially.
Stay in your house and listen to podcasts. That's the rule.
We have been podcasting from many, many miles apart for years.
That's right.
We have lots of practice.
Yes. We've been doing the social distancing very well for the past how many years?
Yes. Since before it was cool.
Yes, exactly. So we're good at this. And we'll continue to do this too. To keep, I think because it's not only a podcast for us, but it's also a social time. Which makes it all the more fun. So anyway, that's it for today's round 3. Tune in tomorrow when we'll talk about the pros and cons of sheltering in place, and then come back on Friday to see what we've come up with for our Roundabout Roundup picks this week. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.